Hey guys, it's me, Carmine again. Um, Today we're going to talk about growing up. So when I was younger, I grew up with a lot of anger issues. I couldn't be controlled in class. Teachers medicated me. Oh yeah, I got my nails done. You guys like them? You all fuck with them? It's the Watchman logo right there. And then, boom. All right. Anyways, but teachers tried to medicate me. Classmates didn't like me. Other students hated me. I was just not a bad kid, or sorry, I was a very bad kid, and I never listened. And I will say, everything starts at home. All behavior is learned. All behavior that you will ever do in your life is learned from your parents and your home life, and who you hang out with and who you surround yourself with. So, growing up, my parents were always on the verge of divorce, and it wasn't until 2018 when they finally divorced I had a moment of peace, basically, because I knew like the fighting was over. And like seeing my parents fight all the time and having them like constantly yell at each other and yell at me and my sister and my brothers, like it was just a house of fighting. So I think that's what fueled me to get to where I'm at now today. You know, with the training and the MMA and the jiu-jitsu and everything. You know, it's my purpose. But the fighting backfired on me. Um, I have a high sense of independence now. When I grew up, I didn't really talk to a whole lot of people. I don't really talk to a lot of people now. Um, but I mean, that's what I mean though. It's who you surround yourself with. Like I'm okay with my small group. I'm okay with my little small inner circle. All you need is two or three good people around you, and you're set. I promise you. If you feel like you need to be a popular kid, you don't. Fuck the popularity. Fuck it all. Fuck school. You know, fuck those new Jordans that just came out. Fuck it. Fuck it all. You know. You don't need to be Miss Pretty over here. What comparing yourself to fucking Jessica? She's a team on cheerleading. She's so good. I don't know the terms for cheerleading, but like you know what I mean. Drop the comparisons. But anyways, but like growing up, like I would just fight. I always felt very cornered, so it turned me now into very just like defensive. So whenever someone tries to say something to me, I'm very quick to defend myself. I'm like, no, that's not what I did, or like that's it's like just I'm not. I don't prepare myself to handle things the way I'd like to. And you know, I had a talk with my dad, and he grew up the same way. I mean, not like yelling and everything. Like his mom and him were very close. Um, but you know, when you have kids young and there's a lot of life that was taken from you, but you were also granted some in return. So you know, my parents weren't raised, or they didn't. In order to raise us, they couldn't raise themselves through their 20s. You know, they had to become adults. So being 20 turned into 30, and then 30 turned into 40, and the next thing you know, I'm graduating high school, and they're getting older, and I can't help but feel bad that they didn't get to do what they wanted. Like my mom wanted to travel the world, she wanted to go to college, all this. She couldn't afford it. We couldn't afford anything. Like growing up, I will say we grew up poor, but we grew up well off enough to not worry about like are we gonna go homeless, you know? Like my parents always got us a decent amount of Christmas, like to keep the joy alive. But you know that was when I was behaving. I would get the good presents. But I mean you can't. How do I say this? You can't just fight everybody though. Like you can't be on the defense. You can't try to fucking go around everything. You need to face everything head on. But you know, I can't handle. I tell employers all the time I can handle pressure, but whenever the pressure gets to me, I crack. I instantly crack. And the reason why is because I go back to being a kid, who is dealing with being yelled at by his parents and has to just crack from the pressure and doesn't know how to deal with his emotions. So now, like growing up, it takes me like almost a full day after like an argument or something to process my emotions and really understand how I feel. As I'll tell someone I care about it in the moment, but in my head I'm like, I just want to get to tomorrow. Why is this happening to me? And it's not the fact like that's potentially like narcissistic qualities, but I would like to think it just takes me longer to process things. You know, I'm not trying to make everything about me, but sometimes people just have to let me like process shit. And the bad thing about processing things is that you go down this rabbit hole where you don't even know where you'll end up, and that'll just make it worse. But I do this thing now where I just break everything down. You know, it should be you and whoever else you're dealing with against the problem. I mean, if the person you're going against is the problem, then that's another thing. But you know, not everything has to be a problem though. Like you don't have to fight everybody. You don't have to like listen to the outside noise. You know, it can just be you isolated in here and just going off of like what you're thinking. You know, because you shouldn't let others think for you. You know, you're a human. You're human just like me. You're human just like your mom, dad, aunt, uncle. And it's okay to process things. You know, you can tell people, hey, I just need a couple of seconds to breathe a little bit. Um, everybody processes things differently. I have a problem where I laugh whenever something sad happens, or whenever I get embarrassed, or whenever I have too much pressure on me. I just start laughing. Like, it's like that one movie, The Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. I know the second one wasn't that good, but that's besides the point. It's like that movie where he had that condition where he just laughs all the time. But that's not my condition. I'm not saying it's like that. It's just like that's how I process things. Like I just laugh about everything. I think everything's funny, but not everything's funny. Um, I don't know. Sometimes like I wish I grew up different, but I wouldn't be able to think about things the way I do now. I wouldn't be able to get on these videos and talk to you guys and try to help you with everything, But I can't hold your hand. I can't even hold my hand, I gotta think freely. I'm not omnipotent. I don't know what's going on in your head. You don't know what's going on in my head. So I will say this though. Anything that you process with caution. The longer you process things, the better it is. But if you take too long, like I said before, you're gonna go down a rabbit hole, and that hole will get deeper and deeper and deeper until you're stuck at the bottom with no way out. You can't even build a ladder to get out. And to that situation, I say you should have taken it slower. You should have waited. You should have processed your emotions then and in the moment, and been like, okay, you know what? I'm sorry that this is happening. I'm sorry for my actions. Let's just continue the day, and then we'll talk about this tomorrow or later in the day. Always tell people what you're thinking. Never keep somebody in the dark. I have this bad problem where I won't tell people what I'm thinking ever. Actually, no one ever knows what's going on. And then on days where like I get a little too frustrated with everything, I just completely shut everybody out and I just do my thing. I'll go to training, work, home, to sleep. You won't hear a word from me for 2 weeks. And that's bad, and I know it's bad, but I know I'm working on it, and I'm not perfect. I'm not saying I'm your motivational coach and I'm better than you and I know how to process my emotions better than you. I'm just like the rest of y'all. It is hard for me to do stuff, man. It is very hard, but at the end of the day, you kind of have to get through it. I mean, you have to get through it. So, I mean, you can't be pressured into thinking what people want you to think. You're living your life. I don't have the blueprint for you. I don't have the keys for you. But what I can tell you is to process things healthily. Don't go punch things. Don't take your anger out on people, especially the ones who love you. Don't do that. That is bad. I've done that multiple times, and it just doesn't lead to anything good for anybody. But I just go to training, and whenever I'm on the mat and I'm bleeding and I can see everything that's happening to me, or like I come out with like scars and bruises. Like I love that. I love that shit. It's awesome for me because I know I'm beating out all those emotions that were turmoiling me before. And it's good for me. It's good for me to process that. I have an outlet. So, growing up, I was always put into different stuff. Like I had karate, I had MMA for a little bit, I had jujitsu when I started. I started jujitsu at around like 10, 11 years old. But I took a big break, and during that break, from I'd say probably 14 to 17 years old, those are some of the worst years of my life because I wasn't training. I didn't have anything. I was just angry at everybody. I got into fights. I was medicated. My parents didn't like me for a little bit. I wouldn't say didn't like me. They just didn't like how I was acting. No one could control me. But now here I am, 19, almost 20 in a couple months, and I can process things now. I can understand people. I can listen. I'm good at listening. I'm really good at listening to people. But there's something about always having that thought of going back to your inner child and how they would have thought and how they would have processed things. And sometimes you have to protect that kid. You have to protect them and be like, hey, like step aside, I got this. Let's be an adult about this. So now you can take over in later years and be like, hey, I can process this now. I can listen. Thrive in your feelings. Don't stay too long up here. The longer you're in here, the worse this gets. And that's not good for anybody. Trust me. You don't want a heavy heart, ever. Get that shit off, process it, block out all the extra noise. Don't let anybody tell you how to process your emotions, because at the end of the day, you're all you have. Like, when you go to sleep late at night and your head is on that pillow and you're looking up at the ceiling, you're all you got, man. Like, nobody else can tell you what to do. So, well, for my younger viewers, you got your parents still, but I mean, just process things. Like to anybody who's out there and they grew up feuding with their parents all the time, years after years, like with no end in sight, I promise you, it gets better. It does get better. And you can't fight everybody. You can't fight everything. Not everything is a match. It's not a boxing match. It's not an MMA match. I mean, I always tell you guys, roll with the punches, but sometimes you really do just got to get knocked out and think about things. You got to take a break and come back. And that also comes with pride, like pride and humbleness. Like, you got to remain humble. You got to. It's okay to tell people that you're sorry because of your actions. Don't ever make someone feel less because of something that you did. I'm guilty of that. I still do things like that. I'm not saying I'm perfect again, but the more you practice things, the better you get at it. The more you practice it, the better you get at processing your emotions. Even write that shit down. Write it down, or journal it or something. And that's still writing it down. But just talk to yourself about how you felt about it and what you could do or what you could have done. I mean, coulda, shoulda, woulda, but if you know what to do next time, you can prevent it from happening again. And even if you don't prevent it from happening again, there's always a first, second, third chance. If you fuck up that first chance, cool. Now I get a second chance. Maybe you're lucky and you get a third. Most people don't make it past the second chance. But I promise you, if anything fucks up in your life, just process it and move on. Just move on. Don't make it worse. Don't go out and fight somebody. Don't go out and yell at someone. If you lead with your head, this is just gonna get heavier. And nobody wants to have a heavy heart. Whenever I have stuff I need to get off on my chest, it feels like a million pounds just were let off, and it's one of the best feelings I've ever felt. But you guys are doing great. I promise. Anybody that watches my videos and you guys take my advice and you guys put it into action, talk with people more. I always tell you guys, talk with people more. Not even just me. Just if there's someone at school or at home or at work you've been trying to be friends with, or like you want to just get to know them, or just hell, then the next time you have random assigned seatings in class, talk to the person you're sitting next to. Just instantly be like, how's your day? Boom. Oh, you play video games? Yeah, add me on Steam, or add me on Xbox or PlayStation. But I'm saying, like, you know, process how you feel. Listen to other people. Take things slower. You guys just need to really hone in on like everything that you're thinking of. You know, be at an all-time high of omnipotence. Be more aware of what you do and why you do things. I know a lot of times people are confused with like, oh, why do I think about things like this, or why did I do that, and they just blew up on somebody that they liked, or they blew somebody off because they were too angry to hang out with them and they couldn't change their mood to be in a better mood to hang out with someone that they wanted to hang out with. You know, just take things slower, smell the roses a little bit. I know growing up I was just on go and I was just fighting everybody. I had to fight everybody. You know, anything that you said to me. Oh, what'd you say? Oh, you want to fight? Okay, yeah. And I would just fight everybody. I fought my dad, I fought my mom, my sister, the schools, you know. It was just never good for me. And growing up now, I wish I would have taken the time to actually get some help then compared to now where I'm not in therapy, but I have just this. I have you guys. Like, you guys are really helping me see like there are other ways to deal with things, you know. And patience is something that I had to learn. I was never taught patience. My dad was very impatient with me when I was younger, but now that I'm older, he understands the gravity of his actions, and I understand the implications of mine. But you know, like I said to anybody out there who's struggling, I'm telling you, it gets better. You know, just slow it down. Slow everything down in your life. Whatever you can control, write it down on the list. Boom. I need to do my homework. Get that done. Oh, my room is dirty. Okay, laundry done. Let's get that done. Just all your problems. Just write them down. Write them down right now, and just knock them out one by one. I'm telling you, you have this big mountain of problems that you're giving yourself that could easily be overcome. You know, it's not so much a mountain you're making it. It could be a hill. It could be a little valley. It could be as easy as swimming in your pool, you know? Well, for those of you that can't swim. But, you know, I'm just saying, like, if you just think about things differently, your whole life will change. Everything gets easier externally when you deal with it internally. You know, I have this saying I always tell people. I'm like, I never thought about it until I thought about it. Which it sounds crazy, and I get it. It sounds crazy. You're like, oh yeah, obviously you're not gonna think about it until you thought about it. But I just like, it's never as bad as it seems. And yeah, you know, you might not think about it today or tomorrow, but you know, next week when you're in the shower, you're like, hey, that was a bad moment. I really should have taken it slower and just like process it differently. But when you allow yourself to really understand other people and have empathy for them, it allows you to come through with different thoughts for your next interaction. And that's all I'm trying to say. Is just take it slow, you know? Not everything has to be like a big, crazy, like stoic message, you know? I can just say, take it slow, man, you know? Smell the roses. Don't rush. You know, rushing things in my life has never led to anything good. It's just like at work. For any servers, I know when you get cut, you're like, oh, I'm cut, I want to go home right now. But you gotta do your side work, you gotta check out your tables, you gotta clean your section, and you gotta get your checkout. And it's a whole deal. But the second you get in that car and you turn on your music and you turn on your car and you start driving, it's just like you melt in your seat and you're good to go home. and you're ready to get in your pajamas and go to sleep and wake up the next day okay. As long as you make it to the next day, you're okay. You're fine. But I'm just basically trying to tell y'all, just, you know, start living in the moment. Don't think about like why you did it or like why you didn't. You know, think about what I could do now, right here in this moment. What do I have control of here? Because the second you take control, it's wraps. It's good. You're good. You're good. You're fine. Everything is in your control to an extent. But the things that are out of your control, they're out of my control. I can't do anything about it. Okay, cool. I'm gone. I'm away. I'm that's not my problem anymore. You know? Somebody's talking shit about me. Okay, that's out of my control. They want to say what they want. No, like no matter what you do in life, even if you're doing it right, somebody will say you're doing something wrong. Somebody will say anything about you. It doesn't matter. Just live in the moment, you know? Live for you. Don't live for fucking your girlfriend down the block who doesn't even buy you shit, and you're buying her fucking presents all week and night. You know, it's you. It's still you. Everything you do is for you. Your job is for you. Your family is for you. Where you live is for you. Your friends are for you. Everything is for you. So just process your emotions differently. Just slow down, and you will be fine. Everything is gonna be okay. Everything that is not in your control, let it go. Take it off here. Think about it up here so we can get off here. Love y'all.